Hello, good day guys. I'm Martian Viernes. I will introduce to you the background of computer hardware and servicing. Okay, before we start, I will introduce to you the basic tools and gadgets. First, the Phillips star screw, Phillips flat screw, rubber gloves, diagonal cutter, long nose, slide cutter, paintbrush, unused eraser, anti-static wrist strap, solidifying iron, Dell solidifying sucker, multi-tester, crimper, LAN tester, CD or DVD installers. And now, the next is the computer fundamentals. First is the computer, an electronic device that stores or retrieves and processes data, and it can be programmed with instructions. A computer is composed of hardware and software and can exist in a variety of sizes and configurations. Next is the hardware. The physical equipment of a computer system, including the central processing unit, data storage device, terminals, and printers. Next is the software. Written and coded commands that tell a computer what tasks to perform. For example, Word, Photoshop, Picture Easy, and Photo Deluxe are software programs. This is the sample image of a personal computer. The first part is the system unit. The second, the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, the scanner, floppy disk drive, CD-ROM drive, external modem. And the other PC peripherals are, first, the AVR, the printer, the PC external sound system or speaker, or the UPS, or uninterruptible power supply, PC camera. Next, hardware functions. First is the system unit. The case that houses processor, motherboard, internal hard and floppy disk power supply and expansion bus. Second is the monitor, a peripheral device with a screen for a visual display of information. Third is the mouse, a computer pointing device used to select a point on a computer screen. Fourth is the floppy disk drive, a drive that reads from write to separate diskettes, which the user insert information is stored on the diskettes themselves, not on the drive. Next is the CD-ROM drive, a piece of hardware attached to a computer which allows it to read or play a compact disc. Next is the scanner, a device that reads a printer page and converts into a graphic image for the computer. Next is the printer, a device that puts computer data on paper. External modem, a piece of hardware that lets a computer talk to another computer over a phone line. Automatic voltage regulator or AVR, a device that regulates the amount of voltage needed for a certain device to function well. Next is the PC external sound systems, a system of speakers and woofers to make an output of sound from the computer's activity. Internal PC hardware means it will locate inside the system unit. There are those the motherboard, RAM, microprocessor, HDD, video card, Ethernet card, internal modem, floppy disk drive or FDD, CD-ROM and DVD-ROM, heatsink, and power supply. This is the sample image of a motherboard, and I will show you their parts. Parts of a motherboard. First, the expansion slots, FDD socket, AGP slot, ATX power connector, IDE socket, system panel connector, ATX power connector under of the microprocessor socket, memory slot, CMOS battery, ROM chip, short bridge chipset, north bridge, USB panel. And the motherboard parts, let me know what is the role of their parts in the motherboard. First is the ROM chip, the chip or IC which contain the stores critical programs such as program that boots computer and BIOS, AGP slot, accelerated graphic port supports, a high-speed point-to-point channel for attaching graphic card to computer's motherboard, primarily to assist in acceleration of 3D computer graphics. Next is the expansion slot, a socket of motherboard that accepts an expansion card. PCI, peripheral component of interconnect, is a high-speed connection for devices, including modems, sound cards, and LAN cards, and etc. Next is the FDD connector socket, a socket to floppy disk drive cable connected or interface. South bridge is the chip to control of the computer's functions such as USB, audio, serial, the system BIOS, the ISA bus. Next is the north bridge, a chipset that connects the CPU to memory, the PCI bus level 2, touch, and AGP activities. The north bridge chips communicate with the CPU through the FSB. Next is the system panel connector. The connector accommodates several from panel functions. System power LED, HDD activity, ATX power switch, reset switch. IDE connector socket, or intelligent drive electronics or integrated drive electronics. A socket for IDE cable connector and interface. ATX power connector socket, a socket for ATX power supply cable connector. Memory slots, a space to place the memory modules or RAM. Microprocessor socket, CPU socket or CPU slot is a mechanical component that provides mechanical and electrical connection between a microprocessor and a printed circuit board. This allows the CPU to be replaced without solenoid. CMOS battery. CMOS and clock backup batteries perform the same function in desktop and laptop computers. When the computer is turned off, the battery maintains the time and date, thus assuring their accuracy when the system once again restarted. More importantly, the battery saves computer BIOS setup configuration, which allows the system to efficiently reboot once it is restarted. Motherboard diagram. This will show you how the motherboard works. Motherboard rear panel. You can locate this at the back of the system unit. This is the sample. It contains parallel port, PS2 mouse, PS2 keyboard, serial port, VGA port, USB port, and LAN port. And the ABCDEF, it means that is the connector for the sound card, sound or the speaker. Next is the microprocessor, the heart of a normal computer that where software are executed, where there is a desktop machine, server, or laptop. Two common types of processor. PGA, pin grid array, a featured of CPU socket where the pins align uniform rows to socket pins or underside the processor into the socket. This is the sample of PGA image. And this is one going to put the PGA on the motherboard. LGA, the LAN grid array, the physical interface to microprocessor of Intel Pentium 4 or AMD Opteron families. There are no pins. This is the sample of LGA, and this is the part of the motherboard when the LGA going to put. This is the microprocessor socket types, and those are their names. The memory. This is the primary memory. is directly connected to the central processing unit of the computer. Primary storage is also volatile. This information when not powered. RAM and the ROM. This is the sample of the primary memory. The second is the secondary memory, also known as external memory or auxiliary storage. The sample is the magnetic disk storage and the optical disk. This is the RAM types. There are so many kinds of RAM. These are the sample images of RAMs. Most common DRAM used in PCs are the synchronous dynamic RAM, SDR or single data rate, double data rate or DDR. The hard disk drive. Hard disk drive used to store operating system, software, and data. They are non-volatile storage disks. It's currently measured in gigabytes for workstation or terabytes for server. This is the sample hard disk image. So that's it. That's all about our topic of computer hardware and servicing. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you learned about computer parts.